Tonight exclusive, Jonbenet Ramsey's father, John Ramsey, in his only interview anywhere on the 10-year anniversary of the most sensational child murder of our time, the brutal and still unsolved slaying of his 6-year-old daughter. 6 months after his wife, Patsy Ramsey, lost her long battle with cancer, and 4 months after John Mark Carr raised and then dashed hopes for justice at last, John Ramsey opens up in an intense emotional hour. It's next on Larry King Live. It's good to see him again. John Ramsey joins us, the father of the late Jonbenet Ramsey and the husband. The late, it's so hard to believe what you've gone through, Patsy and the whole Carr thing. Let's discuss. First, does it get any easier now, 10 years out?
Well, it does. A friend of ours said it was the best advice I had, that memories that bring pain will eventually bring smiles, and that's what I've experienced. So, yeah, it gets easier.
Do you celebrate the Christmas season?
We do. A different way, though. Much more simple. And we try to focus on what Christmas is all about. And
the first time I met your son, I guess he was, what, 10?
Probably, yeah.
And I
probably.
see him now, he's like 19, he's unbelievable.
Big guy.
Is he going to college?
He's at Purdue, sophomore, doing well. As far as we know, we haven't gotten the grades yet this semester, but he was on the dean's list last year, so we're confident.
I remember the ridiculous time where he was considered a suspect.
Well, it was madness. It was a period of madness.
How many grandchildren do you have?
I have three boys, and 6, 4, and 2.
This is also the first Christmas without Patsy. Mm-hmm. What was that like at the end?
Well, it was. I think the hardest part was giving up, which is something you have to do with cancer. And
you have to give up.
You have to give up before it's over, or at least you're encouraged to, and it's very difficult to do. That was probably the hardest thing for me, because you're always looking for that last new treatment or that last drug that'll correct the problem. And at some point, it's just torture, and it's because chemotherapy's poison.
She fought for a lot of years, though.
She did, 12 years.
12 years?
Yeah.
The cancer was what, cervical?
It was ovarian, and she was diagnosed 12 years ago with stage 4 ovarian cancer.
Well, that's the end, right?
It's 5% chance of living beyond 5 years.
So how did she do it?
Well, she had a lot of prayer, some new treatments that we tried that were very successful, and she had the mind to live, and that's a very important part of it. She had a will to live.
Do you think the ordeal of Jonbenet took a lot out of her?
Well, it had to. It wasn't obvious in her spirit. She's a very strong woman, but it had to, I think.
Some people say people die as they live. If they live with class, they die with class. Well, how did she die?
Well, the last 3 months of her life, she had always wanted to paint. So she had the time. She couldn't really get out of the house. And when she was feeling well, she painted. And she did some wonderful paintings and just loved it. And it was like the fulfillment of a dream for her, because she'd always wanted to do it, but never had the time.
She knew she was going to die?
I think towards the end she did. When we had finally shifted to palliative care, which is focused on just comfort and no pain. Hospice. She would ask, well, when's my next chemotherapy treatment? And we just kind of ignored the question, because there wasn't going to be another chemotherapy treatment. But I think towards the end she knew it was not going to pull out.
She always was, every time she appeared on this show, she was a never-give-up girl.
Yeah, that's right. She's amazing. Amazing person. She really was.
So the whole ordeal of Jonbenet, she was unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Stronger than you sometimes.
Oh, totally. No question. No question about that. And even through cancer battle, I only saw her cry twice. And through that whole ordeal, otherwise she was tough, strong, and let's get it done. Were
you with her since she died?
Mm-hmm.
Died at home or in the
She died at home about 2 in the morning.
Is it peaceful?
Not as peaceful as I would have hoped or thought, no.
There's pain, you mean?
Well, I don't know. I couldn't tell, but I hope not. I hope not. Just very, very labored breathing, high heart rate. So I don't know. I hope. I mean, the whole focus was to have her in no pain. So I hope that was the case.
Was your son close by?
He was in the next bedroom. I got him up.
How has he handled it?
Well, I think he's done real well. He and Patsy were very close. She was very invested in his life, and I think Burke's done very well.
Do you think she died believing that this will be solved?
Well, she always believed that. Didn't know when, didn't know if it'd be in her lifetime. Certainly there was that episode last summer where we had a interesting suspect that surfaced, and Patsy was aware of that, although she wasn't really focused on it. Because that time she was very focused on her cancer battle.
Let's discuss you and John Marcar. When did you first become aware of the email correspondence between the journalism professor, Mark Tracy, and the man identified as John Marcar?
Well, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago when they first started.
Really?
Yeah, they started. They would be sporadic. Every now and then we'd get one. They're very bizarre. We always
let you in on it.
Michael Tracy. Right. He would forward them to us, and then we would forward them on to our investigators. You know, we always took everything like that very seriously, because you never know. And these were just very, very strange, very intriguing, but not conclusive. You know, we always look for that silver bullet. What's the little detail that this person knows that only the killer would know?
Did you read any of the correspondence?
Oh yeah, I read most of it.
You did?
Yes.
Wasn't a lot of it pretty sordid?
Very sordid. Yeah, very.
How did you handle that as a
Well, you read it, you look at it more as from an academic perspective.
You were able to do that?
Well, pretty well. Because, you know, we didn't know if it was made up or whether it was real, but you're just looking for that piece of data that only the killer would know.
Were there moments when you said, I think he's the guy?
It was a very convincing confession towards the end, and that's, of course, what interested the district attorney. I was skeptical, as they were, because they still had a lot of work to do, but there were a few pieces that looked very interesting to me, primarily the way the ransom note was signed, SBTC, which we never knew what that meant or stood for, and apparently Carr had used that in some correspondence earlier, prior to Jonbenet's death. That got me very interested, because that's beyond coincidence.
On the negative side, did you ever wonder, though, how he knew about Jonbenet? How would this guy in California?
Sure. Yeah, you're looking for, okay, was he in Boulder, Colorado?
She wasn't famous until she was killed.
That's right. That's right. Now, so I don't know. I mean, Boulder, Colorado was a small town. We were fairly visible because of our business was a fairly large business in the community. Jonbenet participated in a lot of different things.
So he could have.
Certainly could have.
We'll take a break. Be back with more of John Ramsey later. We'll be including your phone calls. We have some emails as well. He's with us for the full hour. Don't go away.
This tragedy has touched not just ourselves and our friends, but many people. And we know that there's many people that are praying for us, that are grieving with us. And we want to thank them, to let them know that we are healing, and that we know in our hearts that Jonbenet is safe and with God, and that the grieving that we all have to do is for ourselves and our loss. Like all parents would say, she was a perfect child, but the thing that I remember about her was that if I would frown, she would look at me and say, Dad, I don't like that face. And I'd smile and she'd say, that's better. And that's just the way she was.
She loved her daddy. She loved her daddy. She was Daddy's girl.
President George H.W. Bush, President number 41, who lost a daughter younger than, 2 years younger than, said, you lose a young daughter, you never forget her.
No, that's very true. You never get over it. You have a hole in your heart that'll never heal.
A hole in the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, sometimes in every day,
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
What about Professor Tracy? Did he seem a little obsessed with your daughter's case?
No, we met him initially. He wrote an article early on about what was being done to us viciously, and it was written from an academic perspective, because he's a journalism professor, talks a lot about the media, condition of the media. So we contacted him and said, thank you for the nice article, because there weren't many of them out there back, 9 years ago, and just got to know him. And because of that article, I guess, and he worked on a documentary that was produced a year or so later, he became known to be associated with our case, and that's, I think, how this car contacted him.
How did you handle the time when you or your wife were accused? People ask me the most dramatic moment in the history of this program had to be the time that detective was on, who had left the Boulder Police Department, and sat there live and pointed to Patsy and said, I think you did it, and I think you, pointing to you, are covering up.
Well, you got to understand, he had no credentials to be a detective. He was a jail guard 2 years before. So
but how,
it was madness.
To have that happen,
it was absolute madness. And you think, how could the world have gone so mad? But yet it didn't bother us terribly, because we'd already been hurt as deeply as we could be hurt. We lost our child. And so it was there, it was madness, it was insanity, but we were suffering so much from the loss of our child that it wasn't something we focused on.
Did you ever have to say, I shouldn't have moved the body? I made some mistake.
There's a lot of things I think the police should have done, but I did what I think any father would do. You don't say, oh, there's my daughter, looks like she's dead, I won't touch her.
Yeah.
Until the police get here. It's impossible. It's ridiculous.
Did you ever have contact, email, phone, anything with John Mark Carr?
We sent some emails, correspondence that were created by